Hey, what's going on, Noel Nation? It's CJ Wilson with the RollUp Network, here to bring you a special interview with CEO and President of Seminole Booster, Stephen Ponder. We apologize in regards to the live we carried on Friday and the technical difficulties we had with getting this interview out due to high demand and everyone asking about it. I made it a point of emphasis to get Mr. Ponder back on and just finish the conversation to talk about the groundbreaking things that's happening on FSU campus right now. Let's go ahead and bring Mr. Ponder on. Hey, Mr. Ponder, how you doing?
I'm great, CJ. How you doing?
Pretty good.
We'll go ahead and get into the meat of the conversation.
All right.
1 second. All right, perfect. There we go. All right, we'll go ahead and get to the meat of the conversation. I know I don't want to hold you too long this morning. We recently just broke ground on the Albert J. and Judith A. Dunlap football-only facility. Let's talk about the excitement of going around the Moore Center and just Tallahassee in general for the groundbreaking news of the football-only facility.
Sure. This project's been probably about 5 years in the making. So I think really it's the importance of yesterday was that we got to put a shovel in the ground and we're going. We've got the architect, we've got the contractors, we've got owners rep, we got a lot of people working on the project. Everybody's in alignment on campus on the importance of it. And the football staffs, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, the staffs are different, the roles that they play are different, and the needs are different. And the Moore Center is fantastic, but quite frankly, we outgrew it just functionally. And then also from a recruiting standpoint, it's part of the game. You've got to have the right facilities to show, young men and young women in different sports how you're going to prepare them for competition, but also for the next level. And so, all that combined, we're just excited about it to get it started. And that's really what yesterday was all about.
Speaking of the arms race, so to speak, within college football, this is a huge recruiting tool in regards to facilities, staying cutting edge and keeping up with the rest of the country, right? It's been a big, how can I put this? It's been a big point of emphasis for fans and just college coaches around how important is that to you guys in regards to just keeping up and make sure our student athletes have the same type of accommodations that the rest of the country have?
Well, I think that, the first thing is that Florida State, Michael Alford talks about it all the time, President McCullough talks about it, but ultimately when you talk about the word standard and there being a standard of excellence, et cetera, well, if you talk about that, then you've got to deliver that, right? The student athlete experience and giving coaches the tools they need to compete to win championships. And part of that is that you have no negatives, that you don't have a box where you got to say, well, we're great here, but here, we're asking you to settle. And so, for us, I don't think we're settling in any way today, but as we move forward in the future, we want to make sure that we are at an elite level and set the standard across the board for every category being top notch. And again, back to yesterday, having a football-only facility allows our staff to grow in terms of what the functions we are. Like, for example, in the lobby of this, NIL wasn't a part of this 5 years ago, but there are places in the lobby of the building where student athletes can go, and if they've got to do appearances or other things, we've got, from a green screen or computer technology, they can operate and do some things outside of their football duties. So there's just some stuff in here that is for today, makes it to where you check the box across the board that you're elite and have, meeting the standards.
Being a green screen advocate and interviewer myself, that really made me excited. So let's talk about it a little bit. I know this building is going to be over 150,000 square feet. It's going to be a vertical building instead of flat horizontal due to space in Tallahassee, which is unique as well. Let's just talk about some of the bells and whistles within this facility that's going to separate FSU from the rest of the country.
Sure. I think that, it starts with when you walk in the entrance, because I feel like that the exterior view and when you walk in, it's Florida. It's the state of Florida. It's our region. It just, it feels like Tallahassee. I think that's the thing I like about it the most is we're not trying to be another building. We're trying to be our own. We're trying to be our own university with our own personality for our program. And I just think that it's clean. It's kind of like the locker room that we just redid at Doak. It's clean. I mean, it is simple, it's clean, and it's very functional. And I think this building is the same way. There's obviously team meeting room, a huge locker room, sports medicine area with the latest and greatest. Even how the equipment trucks, back into the facility and how you access the facility, what's back of house, what's front of house. As you come off the team meeting room and the individual meeting rooms, technology today allows our coaches, film to be cut up, whether it's position group, whether it's third downs, whatever it is. When the coaches go in and the players go in and they want to watch film, they can, queue up what they want to watch. But there's an area also outside that's a turf area. It's on the second floor that when they're watching film, and I'm this way. Look, I can't sit in a meeting for an hour and not want to get up and go do something. So, but for our student athletes to be able to look at film and then for the coach to say, okay, let's go out here, and a door opens and you walk out and you're now on a turf floor or turf field on the second floor, and you're lining up like you just watched on film. And I think many NFL teams started doing that, and of course our coaches saw it. So we're one of the few in college athletics, and specifically college football, that will have something like that. And I just think it speeds up the process of absorption of what you're watching on film and putting it into action. So those are just some of the things. But, again, space is huge in terms of the different departments, and the football staff's grown. I mean, recruiting departments now are larger, and you've really got two different recruiting departments. You're recruiting high school kids, you're recruiting the portal. So just the whole infrastructure around college football programs is different today, and I think this building meets all of those needs.
Yeah, speaking in regards to the walkthrough area, that was one of my highlights as well, seeing that, because just being a former college athlete itself, like I said, once you have those film reviews, things like that, one of the major things you do is go to the field and have your walkthrough, right? And it's a process to walk out to the actual field and go through that, but to take a couple steps from your meeting room to the actual turf room for the walkthrough, I think that's amazing, especially from, like I said, an absorption standpoint, and just getting that from the classroom to the field instantly, just like that. I really think that's important and huge in regards to the development for players. How we just broke ground this past Saturday, 12/17, if you guys aren't aware. How long would this process be in regards to getting this building off the ground and cutting the tape for the grand opening?
Yeah, that's a great question. We're working with the architects and the contractor right now on the exact timetable. But we're in the 18 to 24 month time frame of having it open. So again, I don't know the specific date yet, because as the contractor gets on board and our architects meet, we're talking about those specifics on the grand opening date. But I know that work is starting very, very shortly on, we've got to move some of the mechanical, the heating and air, from one side of the indoor practice facility to the other to allow room for this facility to match up, which it'll actually be where the weight room is. And so work will start, very shortly on this project, and we'll get this thing literally off the ground as soon as possible, because I know everybody on campus has a sense of urgency to have this done, because right behind it we got another project coming, with Doak Campbell Stadium. So we got a lot going on that we're not sitting back waiting on. We want to get going on.
Perfect. And you just kind of answered the question in regards to how it will line up in regards to the indoor facility and how to match up. And it's a unique building, right? Because we know Tallahassee space-wise, especially around FSU, is very limited. We had to get creative in regards to how this building will be built. So we went with a vertical route instead of horizontal, which I think is really cool. How many levels will this building have? And just talk about the difference between making it go vertical, versus a flat horizontal building.
Yeah, I think that comes back to, for folks in construction, if you can put, there's roughly 150,000 square feet. If you put that on one floor, that's more expensive, right? But you also have to find the land. And the footprint where we have it, I know that Michael Alford and David Coburn and others that were involved as we did this over the past couple of years, looked at space all over the place, including Coach Norvell, like functionally, where do you want it? And when they looked at the end of the indoor practice facility closest to Stadium Drive, and as I mentioned, moving some of that mechanical equipment, it will start there and go all the way down the edge of the practice field and form an L, come towards the moor. So you'll have the front of the building facing moor, which I really like because it keeps football and athletics together. Even though it's a football-only facility, the dining hall is still going to be in the Moore Athletic Center because we want the student athletes in all sports to see each other. From an administration standpoint, we want to be able to see football players, see soccer, see everybody so that no one is isolated. But the functionality of the building is very important. But 2 floors, it just makes a lot of sense, both floors, because you've got, if you will, football space and then offices and meeting rooms on the second floor, but locker rooms, training rooms, those type things on the first floor that flow out into the weight room or the weight room into the indoor facility or onto the practice field. So, as they laid it out, it was just what was functional for what needs to be on that first floor and what needs to be on the second floor. So I think from a space standpoint and economical standpoint, we want to be good stewards as we go out and raise money. We want to be smart of how we build things. And I don't know that we would have built a 1-floor football facility even if we had the space for it, just because of the functionality. So there are a lot of factors that go into it, but a lot of folks were involved in looking at that. But I think Coach Norvell, obviously, he had a huge hand in every detail of the building being the best place to maximize time, effort, and energy for the coaches and the student athletes.
As a person that frequents Stadium Drive and enjoy watching practice, driving on Stadium Drive, I'm going to miss that view, but I definitely understand the reason behind it. You kind of hitting on something in regards to Doak. Can you give the fans a little insight on what's going on with Doak? What's the new moves you guys have planned with Doak Campbell Stadium moving forward?
Yeah, we're just starting that. We're have talked about it, I guess, for a little bit, but we're doing it in phases in terms of how we communicate with donors on the next step. So we're having face-to-face conversations, and we're starting those back up in January for what those look like. But there's going to be a lot more information about that coming. But as we broke ground yesterday, we've kept everything as much in terms of public about the Dunlap Football Center for now, and then we'll start working on the next project. And it's funny, after we, did our shovels yesterday, everybody's like, okay, when are we getting started on the other one? I'm like, well, let's get this one started. So part of it. But yeah, with Doak Campbell Stadium, there's been articles written about what it's going to look like, and we've sent out some information and talked, but there's going to be a lot more information about that coming in the very near future. And again, our goal is we want to talk to each and every donor that has a season ticket in there and also that donates, that we want to meet with them face to face about what's going on and what the process is.
Like you said, Mr. Parnas, a lot of excitement in regards to FSU. Let the people know and let the fans of the show know, the listeners know, what they can do to contribute to this and what they can do to help moving forward to get FSU to the point where everyone wants it to be and where everyone, well, not where it wants it to be, where FSU deserves to be on a national scale. So just let the people know how they can contribute to making FSU reach that goal.
Absolutely. SeminoleBoosters.com is the best place to go for information. But, when we talk about, priority projects, it really starts for us with our annual fund. And Seminole Boosters, when someone uses the phrase, become a booster, it's supporting Seminole Boosters, the scholarship gifts that people give, whether they make a donation for a seat-related gift to buy football tickets or basketball tickets, or just makes an outright annual fund contribution. All of that money goes to pay for the scholarships for all 20 sports. So right now we have an effort going on for 20,000 members supporting 20 teams, and we want to grow to 20,000 donors by the year 2025. Right now we're roughly at 12,500. Our renewal rates for this year are really, really good, and our goal this year is 15,250. As we stair step to 20,000. So that's, if you will, one bucket. We've got our Bowden Society, where I referenced yesterday, we've had 290 people contribute $64 million towards the Dunlap Football Center. And so, again, on our SeminoleBoosters.com, you can see it, but the links. But people can contribute to the building, and it doesn't have to be, they can contribute $1 to the building project. It doesn't have to be at, a certain level. But we would love to get more people involved in the facility projects. And then with our coaches clubs, There's sport-specific giving that people can give to. And, because of the state laws in Florida, we've been kind of arm's length related to NIL. And obviously there's been a lot of discussion about that. But there's, two collectives out there right now with Rising Spear and the Battle's End that are both helping Florida State student athletes with NIL opportunities. And, Seminole Boosters will, as the law changes, if it does in the future, we'll get more involved in that. But we can talk to donors about NIL. We just can't organize payments and all that stuff, which we've stayed away from that. But those collectives are involved in that. So when people ask, where do you want us to give? Again, our annual fund is vitally important. We got to get people to join Seminole Boosters. Joining and giving to facility projects is also very, very important. And now NIL is coming right along behind it where, again, it comes down to what donors' preferences are. What do they want to do? So we can guide people, but we never tell people where to give money because it's theirs to give. So all three are vitally important, and SeminoleBoosters.com is the best place to start for information. And just reach out to one of our staff members and we'll be glad to talk to them.
Perfect. Good information. Mr. Parner, let the people know where they can find you at.
Yeah, again, if you, my email and everything is on SeminoleBoosters.com. My Twitter is what I mainly do. It's at Stephen Ponder with a PH. And I love interacting with folks, etc. So if you need anybody on our staff or me, my email address is stephen.ponder@fsu.edu. Feel free to email me, and I can connect you with anybody on our staff. And just appreciate all the support for everybody, because everything everyone does, including this show and other things like it, CJ, it all helps the FSU brand. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah, most definitely, Mr. Ponder. Once I heard about the news, I felt like I had to reach out to you to get this information out to the people and just get more awareness going and get these get the booster contribution going and just get the excitement going after a 9-win season. Looking for a 10-win season with the bowl game. A lot of excitement going on. I think it's time that we step it up, and I think this is the perfect start for it. Again, Mr. Ponder, I really appreciate you joining us. Thanks again. You guys can follow Mr. Ponder on Twitter and go join Seminole Boosters. Let's continue the contribution to make FSU great again. Again, this is Noel Nation. Make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel. CJ Wilson with the RollUp Network. Thanks again, Mr. Ponder.
Go Noles.
All right, perfect, Taylor. Good stuff.